Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
It's 4 o'clock. This is the network service of Radio Nigeria. Good afternoon and welcome to the news. I am Princess Akboraro. First, the headlines. President Bola Tinubu urges Nigerians to uphold the vision of the country's founding fathers. Federal government approves visa-free entry for citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Civil society groups reject UN plan to dismantle UN AIDS. Abia State Government inaugurates State Social Protection Council. And the commentary is on World Rabies Day. You can follow us on Instagram and X at Radio Nigeria HQ and on Facebook at facebook.com/Radio Nigeria Network. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to support the dream and live the vision of the country's founding patriots who laid the foundation of the nation. Speaking at the 65th Independence Interdenominational Church service at the National Christian Center, Abuja, the president, represented by the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, said Nigeria had continued to thrive in spite of enduring wounds and hardship, recording successes both nationally and internationally. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF Senator George Akume, stressed that the current hardship faced by Nigerian citizens was a result of challenges carried over from previous administrations. He assured Nigerians that the short-term pains occasioned by the Tinubu administration's reforms were necessary sacrifices to build a greater nation. The interdenominational service was attended by service chiefs, members of the diplomatic corps, religious leaders, and prominent politicians. A symbolic highlight of the event was the cutting of the independence anniversary cake. Meanwhile, programs for the Nigeria's 65th independence celebrations continues with a World Press Conference tomorrow, September 29, at the National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja, at 10 o'clock in the morning. A presidential broadcast on all electronic media nationwide takes the air on October 1 at 7 o'clock in the morning. That will be followed by first Independence Anniversary Parade at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, at 10 o'clock in the morning. The theme for the celebration is Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation. Nigeria has secured a renewed funding commitment from the African Development Bank to expand the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones project to 24 states. Vice President Kashim Shettima made the request during a meeting with AFDB President Dr. Sidi Ould Tah on the sidelines of the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York. Shettima stressed that the program is central to Nigeria's plan to diversify from oil into agriculture and value-added exports. The Vice President also urged the bank to extend support beyond small businesses to digital innovation, pointing out that 5 of Africa's 8 unicorn companies are Nigeria. In separate interventions, Environment Minister Balarabe Lawal sought AFDB's backing for Nigeria's Great Green Wall project, while Housing Minister Ahmed Dangiwa requested support to tackle the housing deficit. Responding, Dr. Tah pledged AFDB's commitment to mobilizing global capital to accelerate Africa's transformation with agriculture and infrastructure at the center of its strategy. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima also held talks with the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew. Both leaders reaffirmed their resolve to deepen African-Caribbean ties in trade, culture, and diplomacy. Prime Minister Drew, in turn, expressed readiness to strengthen collaboration with Nigeria and boost economic engagement between the Caribbean and the African continent.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The National Broadcast Academy, Ikeja, Lagos, announces another set of basic courses in broadcast presentation,
broadcast production,
broadcast journalism,
broadcast engineering,
media marketing,
digital studio management,
and information and communication technology.
From September 29th to November 7th, 2025.
Lectures holds Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. for 6 weeks.
Prospective candidates must be degree or HND holders.
School certificate holders with credit in English may be considered.
Admission form can be obtained online at www.natba.edu.ng.
National Broadcast Academy is at number 1A Adekule Fajoyi Way, Ikeja GRA, Lagos.
For further information, call 0805 307 8029
or 0803 394 1805.
or go on the social media platform facebook.com/nbacademy.ng.
Announcer, the management.
NAFDAC, we do due diligence because our goal, our mission is to safeguard the health of our country, and we will never compromise on that.
It's a mandate.
COVID-19 vaccines are new, and the side effects or adverse events must be well monitored. Therefore, if NAFDAC does not approve, the public should not use.
Incisive. NAFDAC and your health every Monday at 4:30 in the evening. NAFDAC and your health. It's all about your health. Join us every Monday, 4:30 p.m. on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Don't miss it.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The federal government has approved visa-free entry for citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis effective September 26, 2025, making the Caribbean Federation the first non-ECOWAS nation to benefit from such privileges, a development being hailed as a milestone in African-Caribbean relations. The decision reflects Nigeria's broader foreign policy shift towards targeted South-South partnerships that expands trade, tourism, and cultural cooperation, while for St. Kitts and Nevis, its position the nations as a Caribbean bridgehead into African markets. Under the new arrangement, citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis holding ordinary official and diplomatic passports may enter Nigeria visa-free. The breakthrough follows the African Caribbean Investment Summit in Abuja, convened by Aquarian Consort Limited ACL under the leadership of its managing director Aisha Maina. Shortly after, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu hosted Prime Minister Terence Drew, reinforcing the commitments of deeper bilateral cooperation. That same month, a historic chartered flight carried 120 Nigerian delegates from Abuja to Basseterre, the first direct connection between West Africa and the thin island state. The Coalition of Community Networks and Civil Society Organizations in Nigeria has expressed concern over a proposal in the UN80 initiative to shut down UNAIDS by 2026. In a statement, the coalition described the move as ill-timed and dangerous and a betrayal of millions living with HIV. They warned that dismantling UNAIDS would reverse progress, undermine donor confidence, and weaken the global fight against AIDS. The group stressed that UNAIDS was the only UN agency that had placed communities and civil societies at the heart of its mandate, and noted that women, young people, and key populations depended on its leadership and advocacy. The coalition therefore called on the UN Secretary General and the member states to reject the proposal, strengthen UNAIDS' mandate, and protect the integrity of the UN reform process without undermining the global HIV response. To reduce the prevalence of rabies disease, Nigerians want government at all levels to strengthen awareness as the world marks the day today. In separate interviews with Radio Nigeria in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, respondents expressed a readiness to support various initiatives to prevent and reduce its transmission. Correspondent Adebola Ajayi has the details.
World Rabies Day, established in 2007 by the Global Alliance for Rabies Control, GARC, and recognized by the World Health Organization, WHO, is celebrated annually to raise awareness about rabies prevention and to highlight progress in defeating the deadly disease, usually transmitted to human beings by domestic animals such as dogs, cats, and horses, as well as wildlife, including bats and foxes. Some respondents, Mr. Francis Ikechukwu, Mrs. Idowu Ojo, and Mr. Olani Samuel, who acknowledged the existence of rabies disease, expressed surprise that a day had been set aside for its commemoration.
I have not heard of World Rabies Day. It's the first time I'm hearing it.
I've heard about rabies. I don't know that set aside a day for the World Rabies Day.
This is my first time of hearing World Rabies Day.
Another respondent, Pastor Stephen Lawal, stated that the commemoration of the World Rabies Day was a good initiative that will further help to eliminate the preventable disease.
World Rabies Day is a very important day that we all look at how to prevent people contracting rabies.
A pet owner, Mr. Splendor Herbert, and a dog breeder, Prince Samuel Astro, said they take extra caution in the care of the animals to safeguard both their health and that of the animals.
I usually vaccinate them regularly. I ensure that everywhere is tidy.
When you notice your dog have a rabies, you have to call a professional by putting the dog down, and you don't go closer to such a dog so that you don't get bitten.
Other respondents declared that as much as they love to keep pets, the fear of rabies had become a source of concern to them, calling for more awareness on the disease to checkmate its prevalence in the society. The Director of Veterinary Services, Ogun State, Dr. Taiwo Jola-Osho, who described rabies as a viral disease transmitted primarily through the saliva of infected animals, highlighted symptoms to include muscle pain, seizure or stiff neck, aggression, hypersalivation, and mental confusion.
The state try to create awareness. We go to schools to let them know about rabies because it is common in primary, secondary school students. Are the ones that can be bitten by dogs and they might not report at home.
Dr. Jola-Osho noted that rabies disease was preventable but not curable, advised people handling or living in the vicinity of dogs and other rabies-borne animals to always take precautionary measures. On the theme for the 2025 World Rabies Day, Act Now, You, Me, Community, the veterinarian said it signifies a powerful call for shared responsibility and immediate action to achieve the goal of its elimination by 2030. In Abeokuta, Adebola Jai, Radio Nigeria.
From Abeokuta, we'll move on to Abia State, where the government has inaugurated the Abia State Social Protection Council. Also, the state government has launched the European Union-funded support for sustainable social protection system in Nigeria. Speaking at the Government House Umuahia during the ceremony, Governor Alex Otti noted that the EU's intervention in health, education, environment, energy, and large-scale support for vulnerable people have greatly improved the social and economic experience of individuals and families. The governor pointed out that the introduction of the EU-funded supporting system, sustainable social protection system, and the initiative would greatly enhance the state's capacity to build on the gains that have been made on the social protection front in the last 28 months. The European Union head of delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Ambassador Guter Mignot, said the 13 million euros project for 4 states in Nigeria, including Abia, was an EU-funded project with partners including International Labour Organization and UNICEF. In her speech, the country director of the International Labour Organization offices for Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, Dr. Vanessa Lerato Moyo, said the project spoke of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, as well as the vision of Governor Alex Otti in Abia State. A technology-based organization, IL Tech and Innovation Hub, in collaboration with other partners, have trained some selected youths and out-of-school children in Jama'a local government area of Bauchi State on the use of technology to provide solutions to socio-economic challenges within and outside their community. The training, hosted under a Microsoft Global Hackathon 2025 program, was aimed at reaching out to rural communities with technology initiatives for the first time and to bring together thousands of innovators from across the world to build solutions to critical challenges. The training provided youths and technology enthusiasts from the area to connect in real time with global Microsoft teams and change makers. The beneficiaries, who were trained for months, will be expected to provide or prove that ideas knew no bounds and should be capable of designing solutions to local and global problems using modern sophisticated technology. An AI engineer with Microsoft Dr. Aliyu Ahmed, said the trainees will be technology ambassadors in their communities who were expected to use their talent to boost the fortunes of the community and beyond. Dr. Ahmed said the program had taken many children out of the streets and given them the opportunity to begin another journey back into formal education, leveraging cutting-edge technology to build their career. He explained that such cutting-edge technology would also turn around the fortunes of the underserved communities through digital education, including AI-powered education tools, smart solar technology, and transforming local ideas into world-class solutions.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Next is a summary of major events.
Here is the summary of major events last week. The federal government unveiled the theme for this year's Independence Anniversary tagged Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation. A statement by the Director, Information and Public Relations, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Segun Imohiose, indicates that the theme for the celebration underscores the need for unity, collaboration and patriotism amongst Nigerians. About 300 selected youths were trained as tractor operators and mechanics from the 19 northern states to boost mechanized farming. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Mr. Marcus Ogunbiyi, said the goal of the program aligned with the Renewed Hope agenda to revamp agricultural activities to achieve food security. In Ebonyi State, during the week, relief materials and funds were disbursed to over 800 victims of flooding in the community in Afikpo local government area of the state. The acting governor of the state, Princess Patricia Obila, advised those residing in flood-prone areas to always heed to early warnings to avoid reoccurrence. Similarly, in Niger State, over 100 women rice and cassava processors were trained on the proper use of waste to create wealth and maintain healthy society. It was funded by the Adoption for Smallholder Agricultural Program ASAP grant. Dr. Alhamin Ibrahim is the consultant.
Produce this briquette in excess. We'll come back to uptake it from you and sell it to the other people that doesn't have the privilege that you have. By so doing, you'll have source of income.
Meanwhile, during the week, stakeholders in the health sector were in Asaba, Delta State, to develop a comprehensive implementation plan for the Maternal and Neonatal Mortality Reduction Innovation and Initiatives, MAMI project. The project, which is a federal government-led initiative, seeks to address the underlying causes of maternal and neonatal deaths by focusing on areas such as access to quality health care and provision of timely medical interventions. The Delta State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joseph Onojeme, said they had started strengthening maternal and child health services through improved primary health care infrastructure, deployment of skilled birth attendants, and active engagement of community leaders. Still in the week, a national interagency working group to eliminate lead poisoning in the country was inaugurated. The Coordinated Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, represented by the Director of Health Nutrition, Mrs. Ladidi Bako Ayigbusi, said the terms of reference includes coordinating national strategies and strengthening surveillance. Indigenes of Ibadan, Oyo State, congratulated the new Olubadan Senator Rashidi Ladoja on his ascension as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, describing the event as a remarkable milestone for Ibadan and the entire Oyo State.
Everyone in Ibadan are very happy. A beautiful king for a beautiful city.
We are very sure that his reign will be a better one for us.
It's going to be a season of turnaround for Ibadan.
Also during the week, Nigerians online have been buzzing over President Bola Tinubu's conferment of posthumous national honors and 4 prominent Ogoni leaders, Chief Edward Kobani, Chief Albert Bade, Chief Samuel Orage, and Chief Theophilus Orage. They were honored with the Commander of the Order of the Niger CON Award in recognition of roles in their struggle for environmental justice in Ogoniland. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Duaga in the week dominated online conversations after regaining access to her office at the National Assembly complex in Abuja following a 6-month suspension. And from the entertainment scene, Afrobeats superstar Davido was officially inducted as a voting member of the Recording Academy, the prestigious body behind the Grammy Awards. The role, which allows him to participate in nominations, also gives him powers to select winners for the 2026 Grammy Awards. And that's the summary of major events in the country last week, as compiled by Fanny Olumoye.
It's time for sports.
After a 5-0 aggregate victory over Rwanda yesterday in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria will face Senegal in the final qualifying round for the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. The Nigeria Falconers pocketed more than 22 million naira from the host governor, Engineer Oluseyi Makinde, following yesterday's 4-0 second leg win against Shi Amavubi at the Lekon Salami Stadium. The financial motivation is expected to spur the Moses Adiku's Falconers to victory over their Senegalese opponents, who eliminated Algeria with a 6-0 aggregate scoreline. The two-legged final qualifying round between Nigeria and Senegal is scheduled to take place between 6 and 26 February 2026. Winners between both nations will qualify for the 24-team FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland from 5 to 27 September 2026. About 250 players and officials from the southwest geopolitical zone of Nigeria are expected to converge on Lagos for the 4th Chief of Defense Staff Unity Basketball Competition. 12 teams drawn into 3 groups of 4 will contest for honors in the eagerly anticipated competition scheduled between 30 September and 5 October 2025 at the indoor sports halls of Teslim Balogun and National Stadiums, both in Surulere, Lagos. Speaking ahead of the tournament, the chairman organizing committee for the event, General Aliyu Abdullahi retired, explained the impact of the competition on national youth development.
The whole essence is to create a forum for these youngsters to be able to be engaged positively, during this period and beyond.
Headlining list of participating teams are top flight sides, Hoops and Reed, Oluyole Warriors, Police Barton and Delta Force. And that's sports news. I am Kelechi Bernard.
The commentary is on World Rabies Day. It is written by Bala Muhammad, a private practicing veterinarian.
Today, the world pauses to mark World Rabies Day, a reminder of an ancient but still deadly disease that remains a silent threat in many communities, including here in Nigeria. Rabies is a viral disease that attacks the central nervous system of humans and animals. It is most commonly transmitted through the bite or scratch of an infected dog, though other animals such as cats, bats, and monkeys can also carry it. Once symptoms appear, rabies is almost always fatal. The signs of rabies can begin like ordinary fever, headache, weaknesses, and discomfort, but it quickly progresses into frightening symptoms: confusion, anxiety, difficulty while trying to swallow something, excessive salivation, fear of water, and sometimes aggressive behavior. At that stage, treatment is no longer effective. That is why prevention is crucial. The theme of this year's World Rabies Day, Act Now, You, Me, Communities, urges collective responsibility. In Nigeria, where rabies remains endemic, this call to action is urgent. Globally, about 59,000 people die each year from rabies, and 99% of human cases are dog-mediated. Africa alone accounts for roughly 21,000 of these deaths. In Nigeria, estimates suggest about 1,000 to 2,000 deaths annually, with tens of thousands more dog bite exposures recorded each year. Sadly, children under 15 are disproportionately affected. Over 95% of rabies cases in humans are caused by dogs. Hunting dogs in particular often come into contact with wildlife, becoming bridges that spread rabies to domestic animals and people. To break the transmission, at least 70% of the dog population must be vaccinated. Yet, gaps in coverage continue to sustain outbreaks. Responsible pet ownership include registration, confinement, and annual vaccination of pets to protect families and livestock. Anyone bitten by a dog should immediately wash the wound thoroughly with soap and running water for at least 15 minutes, and then go straight to the hospital for post-exposure prophylaxis, PEP. Though effective, PEP is often costly and out of reach for many. That is why prevention through dog vaccination is important, as delay can be deadly. Communities, health workers, and veterinary services must coordinate surveillance, integrated bite case management, IBCM, and education so that every dog bite is treated seriously. Expanded government support, community vaccination drives, and sustained funding for surveillance across states and local governments are crucial. For rabies to be contained, dog owners should vaccinate and contain their pets. Health and veterinary services should coordinate IBCM and ensure PEP access. Policymakers are expected to fund mass vaccination and surveillance, while communities should lead awareness and reporting campaigns. The World Health Organization reports that children under 15 account for 40% of rabies deaths, mostly after dog bites. In Nigeria, the reality is worsened by the presence of unvaccinated stray dogs. Sadly, some victims still rely on traditional remedies like herbs and concoctions after dog bites instead of seeking urgent medical attention, a practice that often ends tragically. Rabies is 100% preventable. Vaccinating dogs is the most effective way to break the cycle of infection. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark World Rabies Day, let's remember, rabies is not just a dog problem. It is a human problem. It is a disease we can eliminate if we vaccinate our dogs, avoid contact with stray animals, and seek prompt medical care after any bite. Rabies kills, but vaccination saves.
That commentary on World Rabies Day was written by Bala Muhammad and read by Jeremiah Jimmy. A quick look at the weather for this afternoon. It's been raining in some parts of Abuja and clouding in Lokoja, Lafia, Abeokuta and Akure, with the temperature ranging from 25 to 29 degrees Celsius, while residents of Maiduguri, Kano, Enugu, Port Harcourt and Kaduna are experiencing similar weather with temperature ranging between 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. To end the news, here is a recap of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to support the dream and live the vision of the country's founding patriots who laid the foundation of the nation. The federal government has approved visa-free entry for citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis effective September 26, 2025. The Coalition of Community Networks and Civil Society Organizations in Nigeria have expressed concern over a proposal in the UN 80 initiative to shut down UN AIDS by 2026. The Abia State government has inaugurated the Abia State Social Protection Council. That's the news. It's edited by Abubakar Bestu and the production team. I am Princess Boraro, thanking you for staying with us. We urge you to stay connected as we join our studio for sports. Do stay with us.